So, Doc, I'd like you to just talk about descriptive versus subject cataloging. So, in doing so, maybe you want to define what is cataloging, and then you break it down to those.
Okay, cataloging, in the simplest terms, is a process involving creating an entry. An inventory, a listing of the holdings of a particular library. Okay, in that process, we have two phases. The first phase is called descriptive cataloging. The second phase is called subjective cataloging. In descriptive cataloging, the cataloger describes an item, a library item, to uniquely distinguish it from any other item in the library collection.
All right. So, when you're talking about descriptive cataloging, what do you mean, descriptive cataloging?
In descriptive cataloging, you're actually creating a bibliographical record.
Okay.
Or a book record, if you like.
Okay.
But we know that we're using the term book record as a generic term to mean any library material now.
Any information resource.
Yeah, any information resource, whether it's a CD, whether
DVD.
it's a video, a DVD. So in descriptive cataloging, you are uniquely describing that item as, for example, giving details like the features like author, title, place of publication, publisher,
year of publication.
The year of publication, the number of pages it has, whether it has illustrations and so on. So if that item can be distinguished.
So if it's a CD or a DVD, you also talk about the length.
Yeah, how long does it take to play it or to watch it? Yes.
Who created it? Who's a star? Who's in that video?
Who are the producers?
Okay.
Or if it's a book, who are the publishers? If it's a music piece of music, who are the composers?
And why is that important? Why do we do that? Why do we do descriptive cataloging? Descriptive
cataloging is very, very important for various reasons. It helps because you're creating a record of that particular item in the library. The major functions are it helps the users to find the item, to identify the item, to select the item, and to obtain it or to locate it in the library. So if you don't describe it sufficiently, how will the users identify, find, select, or evaluate the item, whether it meets their information needs? It will be difficult.
All right. So, when you describe it, you want users to find and locate it, access it using the what we call access points.
Yes, you actually also in descriptive cataloging you are also creating access points, which are actually in simpler language. These are keywords or terms which you use to search the catalog in order to retrieve that specific bibliographical record. And the major access points are the author, the title. Sometimes in online catalogs we use ISSN. If it's that's the International Serial Standard Number, and then the ISBN, which is International Standard Book Number, plus the serial's title.
The subject.
And the subject headings.
Yeah.
So these are the actual terms that you are going to use to search.
All right.
To search and retrieve that bibliographical record among the hundreds or thousands of bibliographical records.
All right. Doc, I'd also like you to talk about subject cataloging.
In subject cataloging, the purpose is simply to determine the subject matter or content of that item. which which is in the library. So you quickly browse through. If you're a cataloger, you read through the item, skimming through, then you describe the subject. You determine what's the subject of this item. Is it agriculture? Is it talking about criminology, or is it talking about psychology, or is it? So you determine the subject.
Right. So what are the similarities and differences, you know, between the two processes?
The two processes actually, as I said earlier, it's cataloging involves the two processes.
Yeah.
The first one is descriptive cataloging.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is subject cataloging. In subject cataloging, you analyze the document or the item to determine the subject. And once you have determined the subject, you assign the subject heading, which describes the subject content. And the idea is this, that when users search the catalog by subject, they can retrieve all items on that subject. And that's very, very important, because the catalog collocates or brings together all the items in the library on the same subject. And this is very important, especially for researchers. Researchers are interested on searching by subject. And like in the other processes, you will have maybe, in descriptive, you are searching by author, by title. It gives you a number of search terms to retrieve the item.
Well, thank you.